Welcome everybody to the fourth video in quadratic equation. So just to bring you guys up to speed, in the first video we introduced quadratic equation. In the second video we did examples that you could be expecting in quadratic equation. In the third video we did introduction to completion of the square. We analyzed it and scrutinized it, and in this video we are going to do examples that you could find in completing the square. So that's how we will do our videos. We introduce this chapter and then we explain it in details, and then in the following video we do the examples. So in this video we're going to be doing examples of completing the square. If you guys have not watched the previous videos, I recommend that you do that so that you could be brought up to speed. But for now, let's continue. So in completing the square, in the previous video I've laid down the steps that you follow in order to get this correctly. So now we're going to be doing all these four each at a time, and we're going to be following those steps. So step number one is make sure that your quadratic equation is in standard form, that is, it equals to 0, right? For those of you who don't remember what a quadratic equation looks like, it looks like ax squared plus bx plus c is equals to 0. When it is in this fashion, we say that it is in standard form. Now you can immediately see that the equation that we have, 3ax minus 2x squared minus 4b is equal to 0, it is not in order. So what we're going to do is we're going to rearrange it and put it in order. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. By that I mean we're going to have a minus 2x squared first, minus 2x squared first, and then we're going to have positive 3ax, and then we're going to have minus 4b is equals to 0. That is your highest exponent, the term with the highest exponent first, followed by in descending order like that, just like here as well. So here as well. Okay, so it is now in standard form. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and put it a bit to just below so that we can have enough space. So we will be having minus 2x squared plus 3ax minus 4b is equals to 0. Our equation is now in standard form, and then the next step is we're going to take the constant term to the right hand side of the equal sign and leave the terms with an x on the left side. So that is minus 2x squared plus 3ax is equals to 4b, like that. And then the next step is we're going to take half of the coefficient, we're going to divide every term by the coefficient of x squared. We start with x squared, then we work with x. So we're going to divide every term by the coefficient of x squared, right? So the coefficient of x squared is minus 2. So we're going to divide this by minus 2. We're going to divide this by minus 2. We're going to divide this by minus 2, right? So here we're going to have x squared minus positive divide by negative is negative. So we're going to have minus 3a over 2x. Okay, equals to negative 2b, since 2 into 4 goes once. Okay, now now we're going to the coefficient of x. We're done with x squared. Now we're going to the coefficient of x. So we're going to add half of the coefficient as of x. So we're going to half the coefficient of x, and then we're going to square it, and then that we're going to add to both the left and the right. We're going to half the coefficient of x and we're going to square it, and then once we are done with that, we're going to add it to both sides. Okay, fine. So in this case, I always give an example that if the coefficient of x was 4, if it was 4, we're going to say 4 divided by 2, and we're going to square it, and this is what we're going to add to both the sides of the equation. But in this case, it is not 4. Okay, it is not 4. It is 3a over 2, right? That is the coefficient of x. It is negative 3a over 2. So we are going to multiply this by half. All right, we are going to half it. So this will be negative 3a times 1. That will give you negative 3a. Then 2 times 2 will give you 4. So half of this is that term over there. So that is what we are going to square. This is half of the coefficient of x. We are going to square this, and we're going to add it to both sides of the equation. What you do on the left, you do on the right, to sort of balance the equation. So it was 3a over 4, if I remember carefully. Okay, 3a over 4. So we're going to have x squared minus 3a over 2x plus 3a over 4 squared is equals to minus 2b plus 3a over 4 squared. Okay, like that. All right. Now, the next step, we want to factorize the left side, which is now a perfect square, we have shown this in a previous video, what we mean by that. So since this is a half of these and it's squared, meaning the factors of x squared is x, and the factors of 3a over 4 will be squared, will be 3a over 4 times 3a over 4. So we will have it this way. We'll have x minus 3a over 4 squared. The reason we're having minus here is because we have a minus there. Okay, and then we have a positive there. So since this is squared, minus times minus will give us positive, and then because we're going to be adding two things, and then we'll be getting a negative there. So we have a squared there, and on the right side we're just gonna add the terms as they are. Okay, so you have minus 2b over 1, okay, and then plus, this is going to be 3 squared is 9a squared over 4 squared is 4 times 4, that is 8 times 2, that is 16. All right, 16. Okay, and then when you add this, you're going to take the lowest common denominator, which is 16. Okay, and then 16, 1 into 16 goes once, 1 times minus that, you're going to have minus 2 times 16, which is 32, minus 32b. Okay, 16 into 16 goes once, so you're going to have 1 times that, which is 9a squared. Okay, So you can't add those two because it is A and B's, apples and bananas. So you can't add them. So you leave it the way they are. So you're gonna be having this side, which is minus 32b plus 9a squared all over 16. Okay, so it is like that. Okay, and then from here you're going to be introducing the square root. Okay, so the square root, to remove this, so you'll be having the square root of that and then the square root of that. With this side, remember, you must always have a plus minus. So this will remove that, and then you'll be having x minus 3a over 4 is equals to plus minus the square root of 32b plus 9a squared over 16. Okay, and then for your last step, let me just put this here so that I can have space there to be able to do my last step there. Okay, so for your last step, you're just going to take these constant here to the other side. So your x, since you're looking for x, your x will be equals to, it is a negative, when it goes that side will be a positive, plus 3a over 4 plus minus the square root of 32b plus 9a squared over 16. Right. You can go ahead and use the lowest common denominator to simplify this further, or you can decide to leave it like that. If you have the value of a and b, you can substitute it and get the final answer. But remember, under the square root, you must always have a positive. If you don't have a positive inside the square root, then your the roots are not real. So that's what you conclude by saying that the roots are not real. Okay. All right, and then let's come beside. This one is very interesting since they've given us the quadratic equation itself. They've given us the quadratic equation itself to simplify. So this, when we complete the square with this, is going to lead what we call a quadratic formula. So you will see what I mean by that. So let's take it on. The first step is we take the constant to the right hand side of the equal sign. So we'll have ax squared plus bx is equals to a negative c. And then because remember it is in standard form, and then we are now taking it to the second step by crossing over the constant. The next step is we are dividing every term by the coefficient of x squared, so which is a. So we'll divide this by a, we'll divide this by a, we'll divide this by a, like that. So we will have a cancel a, we'll have x squared plus b over a x is equals to negative c over a, like that. Now we are done with the coefficient of x squared. We're going to the coefficient of x. We're going to take half of the coefficient of x and we're going to square it, and we're going to add it to both the left hand side and the right hand side of the equation. So the coefficient of x is b over a. Okay, is b over a. So we are going to take half of it. So meaning we are going to multiply it by half, which is 1 over 2. Okay, so this will give us 1 times b is b 2 times a is 2a. Okay, so then we're going to square it, and this is what we're going to add this side and that side. All right, so remember what we did. Okay, so this is going to be plus b over 2a squared. Okay, let me just bring it down here because we don't have space to put it this side. Okay, what you do on the left, you do on the right. Okay, so we have x squared plus b over a x plus 1, so b over 2a squared is equals to minus c over a plus b over 2a squared, like that. Okay, what you do on the left, you do on the right to balance the equation. Now, we factorize the left hand side, which is now a perfect square in the next step. Okay, the factors of x squared is x and x. The factors of b over 2a squared is b over 2a, b over 2a. Alright, because we have a positive there, okay, we can just go ahead and put positive, positive. Okay, so this is half of this. So when we are going to have 2 of these, it's going to give us that. For example, if we say x into x, we get x squared. If you say x like that, you get plus b over 2ax. You say that, you get b over 2ax. Then you say this times that, you get plus b over 2a squared. All right. These like terms is one of these and one of this. So you're gonna have 2 of b over 2a x, and then this 2 will cancel this 2. Then you'll be left with b over a x, which is this term over there. The reason why I wanted to do this is to show you that this will work out to be b over 2a, which is the same as the middle term. Now, because these x plus b over 2a is the same as x plus b over 2a, so you can just go ahead and say x into x like that is the same as x squared. So we're going to be writing one item and squaring it, right? So that's what we're going to be doing when we factorize that. So just wanted to show that so that people can understand. So we're going to be having squared. So we're going to be having the factors of this is x plus b over 2a squared, which is now equals to the right hand side. We're just going to add it. Okay, so we're going to be having b squared over 4a squared, loss of exponents. We are going to get to that chapter. We are going to do it. For those of you who don't understand the loss of exponents, so this exponent comes here, this exponent comes there, as well as there. Okay, so we're going to be having a positive b squared over 4a squared. This is minus c over a, and then we're going to be taking the LCM, the lowest common denominator, which is 4a squared. Why? Because a goes into this and 4a squared goes into this. This goes into these ones. 1 times b squared, you're going to be having b squared minus a into 4a squared goes, and then you're going to be having 4ac like that. So what you're going to be writing here is this b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. Okay, 4a squared. Alright, so now the next step is you're going to introduce a square root to remove the squared over there. Since you are not looking for this, you're actually looking for x. So the square root this side and then the square root that side. This side, remember, when you put the square root this side, you must put plus minus. Okay, so this will remove that. You'll be left with x plus b over 2a is equals to plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. This 4a squared is under the square root as well. All right, so now the next step, you're going to be taking this constant term to the other side, right? And then you'll be left with x is equals to minus b over 2a plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 4a squared. Okay, now when you get to this side of the equation, you must remember that, okay, let me do this as well because I need space. Let me take this down. 5 minus 10x minus 3x squared is equals to 0. I'm going to go ahead and remove it there because I need space. I'm going to show something very important, okay? Something very important that we must make sure that we're not losing. Okay, all right. Oh, I'm losing ink. Okay, right. So now the next step here, we're going to try and remove things from a square root. So if you have x is equals to minus b over 2a plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. We know the square root of 4 is 2 squared. So the square root of 2 squared is, we're taking it out of the square root now, is 2. The square root of a squared is a. You see? Because this can be written, 4a squared can be written as 2 squared a squared. And then following the loss of exponent, it can be written as 2a squared. And then the square root will cancel that squared, and then you remain with 2a, and it is now out of the square root. Now, what you will notice now is that our denominators are the same. So if our denominators are the same, we can go ahead and divide everything by one denominator because it's still the same. So we'll have minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Since we have 2a, then we have 2a. This is what I said. It's very important. I hope you guys didn't miss it. I hope you catched it because it's very important. Okay, now this introduces us to the next section. Although we have spoken about it, this is what we call the quadratic equation. Sorry, the quadratic formula. All right, this is the quadratic equation. This is the quadratic formula. This is the solution for the quadratic equation. The quadratic formula is the solution for the quadratic equation. All right, so this is the formula, this is the equation. How you solve this equation? You use the quadratic formula. Now, what you must notice is that if you have your quadratic equation like this one, or let me say yes, like this one. If you have a quadratic formula like this one, and it's in the form of 3x squared minus 5x is equals to 4, which is not in standard form. You can put it in standard form first, which is x squared, 3x squared minus 5x minus 4 is equals to 0. That 4 will come to this side, okay? Now you have everything in standard form. It is in that fashion. You have the value of A, which is 3, right? You have the value of B, which is minus 5, all right? B, okay? You have the value of C, which is minus 4, okay? Like that. Now, you can just go ahead and plug your values of A, B, and C into the quadratic formula and get your answer. Okay, so you have your quadratic formula as x is equals to minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. But what is your b? Your b is minus 5, so you've got minus into minus 5, okay, plus minus the square root of what is your b again. B here, b is minus 5, so you have minus 5 squared minus 4 into a, which is 3, and then your c, which is minus 4, okay, like that, all over 2 into minus 5, which is your b, you see. And then you can say negative times negative is positive, so you'll have x is equals to 5 plus minus the square root of minus 5 squared is 25, positive 25. You have a negative here, you have a negative here, so you're going to have a positive. And then you have 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 8 times 2, which is 16. And then 16 times 3, so 16, 16, 16, 6 plus 6 is 12, 12 plus 6, 12 plus 6 is 18, so you're going to have an 8, carry 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you'll be having 48, so this will be 48, okay, all right. And then from there, you divide this by 2 times 5, negative 10. 2 times negative 5, that's negative 10. Okay, so then from here you'll have 25 plus 48. 25 plus 48, you'll have 8 plus 5, which gives you 13, and then you'll carry 1 there, and then 4 plus 2 is 6, 7, so 73. So you'll have x is equals to 5 plus minus the square root of 73 all over negative 10. Okay, so you will be having this in a way that you will take the positive and the negative, and then you will do this on your calculator, and then you will get your answer. So what I mean by that is you have x is equals to 5 plus the square root of 73 over negative 10, or x is equals to 5 plus minus the square root of 73 over negative 10. You'll get your answers there. And then once you get the answers, remember, when you find the answers, do not forget to come and plug them here so that you can see if your answers are correct or not, because not all the roots that you find in this fashion, as I emphasize, they are always correct. So you will use your calculator and then you'll find the answer. When you find the x value, you'll come to this equation and substitute them there and see if the left and the right balances. If they balance, that is the correct root. If they don't balance, that is not the correct root. Okay, right. To that side as well. So this side as well, you can do the same. You can say, you can rearrange it, okay, and have minus 3x squared minus 10x plus 5 is equals to 0. All right. Now, you can either complete the square or you can use the quadratic equation. Now, as we have learned, completing the square is quite a bit, it's quite a hassle, right? Not that it's difficult, but it's quite a job. Okay, so once we have completed the square with the quadratic quadratic equation, and we got the quadratic formula, we can now just go ahead and enjoy the quadratic formula, right? So in this case, we'll find the value of, since this is in standard form, we'll have the value of a, which is equals to minus 3. We'll have the value of b, which is equals to minus 10. We'll have the value of c, which is equals to positive 5. Okay, and then we'll plug in our quadratic formula as it is, and then we'll substitute these values into the quadratic formula, which is x is equals to minus b. Our b is minus 10, so we'll have minus 10, and then plus or minus the square root of b squared. Our b is minus 10. Let me check, yes. So we're gonna square that, minus 4 into our a. Our a is minus 3, and then our c is positive 5. Okay, positive 5 all over 2 into 2a, which is minus 3, like that. Okay, so we can just go ahead, you can put it as it is in a calculator, the positive and the negative, and then you can continue and work it out, and then you will surely find the answer. All right, so that's how you go about the quadratic equation in the quadratic formula. Okay, so I hope you catch that, guys. It's very important, and if you like what we do, please remember to like and subscribe so that you can catch the videos that I'm gonna be doing next, because I've done 4 videos in quadratic formula equation chapter, and then next I will be doing the last video on quadratic equation, where we will be doing some more of this quadratic formula sums and concluding the chapter. There are quite some interesting examples that or problems that are going to really trigger you, that I hope you can join us in the next video as we wrap up the chapter. The thing that we're going to be dwelling a bit more on to finish the chapter is what we call the discriminant. Okay, the discriminant, which is this guy over here. You can also call it the delta. So b squared minus 4ac is also called delta. It's also called the discriminant. Okay, so this determines the nature of your roots. What is the nature of your x values? So we'll be dealing with this a lot more in the next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.